Going to the office on a Saturday. This is our kitchen. But we're going to see Gavin.
Good morning.
Little main show action?
Little main show action. Congrats again, Bella. That's what she looks like right there. Pretty close to being done, but pretty awesome little story there. What do you got going on? How's the scooters?
It's good. I forgot to put a belt on this morning, so you can see what we're rocking with here.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I could probably find a piece of string in my truck.
I've got a belt in my truck that's on my jeans, so I need to get it. So,
He just comes in with no belt, this guy. So essentially, in this video we got a pretty cool little spot that I found out on some public. I went in the other day and hung a stand at the crossing spot that I've hunted a lot in the past and wanted to check out a new spot that I've never touched. And we found some great sign, really fresh sign, a big old scrape, some ripped up rubs and stuff. Decided to hang a camera in there over a couple acorns, over a couple oak trees that were just raining acorns, and already.
And there's a giant on camera.
Well, I just had to do it. This guy. Yeah, there's a really good deer. I know him from last year. He was the one I mentioned in the blog last week, and so he's in there. He was daylight, which is awesome. He's bedded close, and so the prediction was right on that. And then last night, which is when we got the picture as well. Last night, I also got a picture of the deer we call the Split Brow 10 on the hay farm. He's one that I've had. This is my third year of history with, and he looks great. I think he's 5.5 this year. Would definitely be one that I want to target, and it is super exciting getting those pictures.
October 1st, 3 days away.
3 days. I mean, anticipation couldn't be higher, and I know I speak for all of us when I say we're ready to get in the field. So
at the end of the video, I do a quick little gear breakdown on what I'm filming out of the blinds with, and then I also take you guys through some of my Maryland deer. I just happen to be doing the breakdown there. It's where I take all my stuff in the evening, so you'll see some of those deer at the end. Other than that, we've got work to do, so we're going to stop filming and playing around now. So we'll see you guys later. Enjoy.
That's about it. We appreciate you watching. All right, September 26th. We're out here on the public. As you can see, I'm loaded down with the stand hooked up to this Mystery Ranch 38. Works out awesome. I mean, I can certainly feel it, but with the support it's got, I mean, this makes this a lot easier. I mean, we're walking a good mile in, so that's pretty nice, but being kind of quiet. It's only a few days out from season. Within 7 days of season, you're allowed to hang stands here in Iowa. So today what we're doing is hanging the crossing spot. Hunted a decent amount last year, had good hunts out of there, and it's just one of those spots that it's nice to just have a set ready to go. They oftentimes are right in there on you in the morning, so we're gonna get in there and hang this set, and it feels like fall, I'll tell you that. It's gonna get warm today. It's like 70 degrees, but feels good out right now, especially here in the shade, so excitement is high. So we got the stand hung. So you can see it's in that tree right there.
And this tree right here, move out of the way, that way, is where we hung last year. And the reason I decided to change it up, we kind of walked up here and I was looking at this other hackberry that's right next to it, to the original one. And there's a much cleaner lane back towards the river back here. A lot of times the deer like to skirt around instead of coming on the main trail right in front. If they're on the main trail, it's no problem as far as getting a shot, but getting a shot for back here, you know, if I could do that, I was wanting to. And this tree, luckily, it works. It's kind of bare. I mean, there's not a ton of branches up here, so you can see. But, you know, there's good back cover from kind of the directions that they would come. A lot of the movement is just going this way, along the, basically perpendicular to the stand. So, good cover that way, and I think it'll work out. That's really the only spot I was wanting to hang. I want to leave the duck pond as a saddle setup because of the way that the trees around it work to the advantage of cover for that spot. It just sets up better for me as a left-handed shooter to be in the saddle in that specific spot. So it's nice having both options and go from there. So. We've come over here to another part of this public, and it's a spot that I've never really done much scouting in the past. And so we're looking to just kind of walk around and see if we can't find anything good potentially for opening day. Out here you can tell is just a big flat where there's just lots of canary grass, some, you know, younger willow trees, thicker willow trees, lots of just like thick cover where these deer like to bed in my experience out here. So we are, however, going to keep pushing through this opening, and there's a couple fingers where there's some oak trees that kind of come out of a main bedding area off to my left. So you can see this kind of wall back behind me is, in my guess, the main bedding area. So no intel in here, no experience in here. I mean, I've walked back here a couple times, but not really in this, getting into the thick stuff, into the actual stuff that we would hunt. So, excited. I got one tracks camera. If we do find some good sign, we can definitely put that out. But really, we're just looking for a couple stand locations to potentially set up in, to either observe or to get actually right in there for that first kind of week or two of season. With acorns very hot, you know, there's obviously crops, destination crops back behind the camera. So deer primarily are probably gonna be working that way. But there's some oak trees in between, and I'm thinking that coming from bed, staging in those little acorn rich areas, if we can find them, and then moving off to ag, I think that that's gonna be kind of the general movement pattern. But we're gonna go in here and see. Broken branches and stuff. Yeah, look at this scrape right here. Dude, that is tore up. Look at that. Something mean's been in here. That's like really fresh. There's also, it seems like kind of the tracks have picked up, kind of coming out of that and going up into this. We were sitting here just kind of looking around, looking at that rub, and there's two black oaks. This is really just black oaks. I was hoping there was burrs in here, but it's just not the case. But these two trees are raining acorns. You can hear them just falling. And so I'm sure that there's deer in here eating them. There's obviously something in here ripping this up. I mean, this is a big scrape for this time of year. I'd love to find a way to get a camera on this. I don't know if we'll be able to or not, but this is the spot, though. It's definitely a scrape. It's not like that. It's been dug out. so you can see I got this camera hung here. We have 2 big black oaks that are just absolutely raining acorns. I would always love it for it to be some sort of white oak out here. That's primarily bur oaks, but they're just not around here. It's all black oaks. But either way, these 2 trees specifically have just piles of acorns coming out of them. They've just been falling the whole time we've been here. So there's a really torn up scrape that this camera is essentially on this black oak right here. 2 licking branches just ripped to heck. On this kind of jacked up tree, it's like halfway fallen over. It's still alive, and that's where that fresh scrape is. That fresh rub is right here. So right here, it seems like there's just a lot of movement going on. We're basically on one of those little fingers that comes out of the bedding. So again, thinking main bedding back this way, finger where the oaks are, staging area, crop fields that way. So overall might set up really good for an early season spot. The trouble is we cannot find a tree to save our lives. These black oaks have tons of dead branches going all the way up them, and there's just really nothing at all that we could get in. So there is one little kind of brush pile back here that we could set up on the ground in, and it's not ideal, but to be in a good location, you know, it's one of those things where it's location over the perfect tree, the perfect setup, what have you, for me at least. So I think we could potentially go over there and find some spot to tuck in. Either way, gonna let this camera kind of do its thing and hopefully show us what's in here. There's certainly something mad that ripped that scrape up. This one's fairly fresh, and lots of bedding all over that way, back behind the camera, and just one of those secluded spots that could be really good. So we'll see. You know, that kind of brings me to one kind of main focus that I like to do when I'm out scouting public lands, especially. This can obviously apply to if you have your own farm, but you know, on these public lands, there's a lot of times either clear cutting where they do lots of logging. Out here on this river bottom in particular, there's just tons of habitat diversity. Different chunks that are more open, more thick, what have you. And those, essentially when you can find a big thicket, whether it's, again, out here, it's willows, whether it's a clear cut like what I've done a lot back in Ohio, in the big woods and whatnot. I mean, there's lots of different examples, but any sort of big thicket, big bedding area that you can clearly tell. I love to find areas of those and find the edge of it where it maybe opens up into some hardwoods, some oaks, for example, some sort of big transition line. And when you compare that, like I said, with oaks, especially early season, or you compare that with lots of good trails, travel routes coming together, those can be dynamite spots, obviously, once you get into the rut. You know, bucks cruising those, but it's also great, especially, like I said, if you have acorns for this time of year. So who knows? We'll let, like I said, the camera soak, see what it does. And depending on what we got going on here, might be back in this spot, but it's definitely one that's being well used. You can see it's just all tore up in here, where the deer have just been feeding a lot in here. So exciting stuff. Found some fresh sign. We'll see if we can go find a setup and then find the access. The access is the tricky part. There's a slough that kind of snakes through here, so we might be able to just come in from that. These first few days of season, we've got south winds coming on the 2nd, so we've had north for a better part of a week up to this point, and on that Tuesday of next week, it's going to switch to south, and so that will be perfect for blowing towards, essentially, I guess, where they would be headed to, or where we would come from. So it's not ideal, but it's not going to be blowing into the bedding, which we obviously don't want, because that's where they'd be coming from. So could be a great first week spot. We'll see. It's exciting stuff. Not really the setup I want, but again, it's the right spot Those two main oak trees that are clearly dropping lots of acorns are right there. Camera's right there. Scrape's right there. I think we'll be able to access through this slough. And it's not ideal, but it's way better than crashing through what we came in through. And so with the wind kind of just blowing this way, south wind, southwest wind, maybe blowing even that back into there, anything out in front of us should be totally unaware. Now, we may bring in some camo netting. We'll have to make sure Dave hides really well. He's not good at hiding. Just kidding. But either way, I mean, again, it's not ideal setup-wise, but it's the spot that I'm really a fan of. So we are going to go ahead and walk this slough out, which is, again, I think where we could access from. So we're going to just walk that, be nice and clean. Again, bedding back in there, presumably, you know, coming from that way, nice and clean, not making a bunch of noise, I think will be the way to go as far as access. So we're gonna walk out that way, and this is exciting. See if we can get back in here.
Maryland deer action. What's up? Just got back from filming a hunt with Mike. It was a youth hunt, and I'm going to show you guys what I have in my bag specifically for blind hunts right now. Tree stands are a little bit different, but just going to pull everything out. This is packed up from the blind to the house, so give me a second. I'm going to get a tripod set up, and we'll be right back with you guys. Level it up. Okay. This is another useful little tip. I'm gonna run a second angle on the GoPro for this. So as I start, snap sync, clap sync, whatever you want to call it. But it allows you the ability to quickly synchronize your audios in post-production. So this is actually a pretty neat thing. This is a Remington Fieldmaster 22. This was my great-grandfather's. And I don't know, I've never shot it. I don't know if it shoots, but it's something I kind of cherish. My dad gave it to me after my pap passed away, and there it'll stay. So you guys saw the backpack kind of quickly off there at the beginning. I'm running a Treehouse 38 from Mr. Ranch. Got everything undone right now. And lay this up here so we can kind of just pull stuff out of here. And you guys saw the two things I had on there, the tripod and the fluid head. And then this is what I generally film hunts out of the blind with. This is a 200 to 600 millimeter lens. This is my camera, Sony a7S III. And I'm telling you, if you want just high quality footage, this lens and either the A1 or the a7S III, there's like Josh runs a Canon series, Canon R5, also a great camera, but partially, I am very partial to this one. This A7S III, I actually just got it back from getting fixed. I broke some stuff on it, and I bought this about a month into my internship. It was, I got out here, Josh gave me his A7S III at the time, and I immediately just was like, I love this, I need to buy one, so I bought one, so here we are. And that's what I run for most of the blind hunts. So in the fall, generally I've run a 70 to 200 last year, and also in 2022, and the first year I ran a 24 to 240, and the reason I didn't like that's a variable aperture lens that Sony makes, and you can combat that by setting your aperture, or aperture is also called your f-stop, to 6.3. That's a 3.5 to 6.3. So as you zoom the lens in, the f-stop goes up. So if you're at zoomed out at 24 millimeters, you'll be at 3.5, and if you zoom into 240, you're going to be at 6.3, and that'll change the exposure of your footage as you're filming, and then the color correction is a little more difficult. So you can cheat that by just running a 6.3, or this is also a variable aperture lens, but it's 5.6 to 6.3. I generally will just run this camera on 6.3 like I was saying. So I'm talking fast, so I'm sorry. But this is my camera. I have a camera cage on here. This allows me to have my hot shoe, which I'll show you my hot shoe microphone set up here in a minute. I can run the Sennheiser wireless on the side. And then also what I like is I have a spot here where I can run for recovery. I'll switch the 24 to 105, which is on the A1 right now, onto this camera. I can run my hot shoe, I can run my light, And on that hot shoe, I've got a splitter, and that enables me to do both shotgun audio and wireless audio. So that's what I got for that. We're gonna set this over here. Over here, these are actually a coyote and a gray fox. I don't know if you guys ever seen this. This is a beautiful, beautiful animal. But gray fox, one of the most beautiful things in the world, and got a soft hand. It's actually the first fox I ever shot with my buddy Joey Eiler. He's a pro staff member on the East region. If you guys haven't, check out the East show and the other regional shows, the Heartland, the Great Plains. Bunch of great guys, bunch of great hunts, bunch of big deer. You guys will love it. So, can fit a lot of stuff in here. In the fall, I not only use this as a camera bag, I use it as my hunting bag. I can get all my hunting stuff, ozonics, grunt call, anything I need. Snacks, important one, snacks. In this bag along with my camera gear. So we'll start at the top pocket. I just kind of put some stuff in here quick after the hunt today. This is my splitter, hot shoe. Basically, hot shoe means it connects to the top of the camera and it runs off the camera battery. You don't need an external power source for it. This is an XLR cable adapter. Basically, I will plug my wire for the Sennheiser mic. A Sennheiser is a wireless microphone. This is the LAN side, so this is the side that the hunter will have. It's got a lav mic on it, lavalier microphone, singles out the voice pretty well, has a wind reducer, or a windscreen on there. And then my side, which will go on the camera, has a little plug it into XLR port, and then you run this on the camera cage like I was showing you guys. Like so. It'll sit right on there and you're good to go. I'll go ahead and just plug the hot shoe in just for argument's sake to show you exactly what's going on. And I'm not going to plug this in, but it'll set right up top here. This is the shotgun microphone. There you go. You have your Sennheiser plugged in here, your shotgun plugged in here, gives you dual channel audio, both shotgun and wireless. And then in post-production, you can correct whichever side you need. And I'll show you guys how to do that one day, but that's not for tonight. This pocket right here, backside, you guys can see it. I generally keep GoPros, like a drink or something in there, just for an afternoon hunt. That'll all change as we go throughout the year. I was telling you guys about the important pouch right here, snack pouch. Sometimes these snacks will sit in here for a while. Trail mix, Belvita breakfast bars, two of my favorite, and chocolate peanut butter protein bars. So always keep an extra base plate. This is, I actually keep two of them normally. One for the long lens, which is this one. The one I put on that camera at the start of this video. Camera cleaning clip. A little tongue-tied, I'm sorry. It's like 9:30, so. Camera cleaning kit. Extra Sony batteries. Both of them fit the A1. More Sony batteries. Can't never have enough to batteries. That's one thing I have noticed in this profession. So always overshoot what you need. And then I also have Duracell batteries for the Sennheiser mics. Recovery lights. I'm gonna link these in the video below. These are Suptic dive lights. This is something that Mike actually found. And I've been extremely impressed with these. They light stuff up well. They have good battery life. And that's about it. That's what I'll keep on for blind hunting. So, other than that, well, I guess there's one more thing I should show you guys. Kind of talked about it briefly, right? These are some of my Maryland deer. So this is a deer I call Brow Beans. I shot him in 2019. It was a tough year for me, honestly. The year before I started Midwest Whitetail in the regional show, and this guy, well, we're gonna skip this one. This is 8-point. This is technically the first deer I ever targeted. So kind of special for me. Has pictures of him early in the year in velvet and made it a decision that I was gonna shoot him. And that's what I did. This deer right here, and if you guys don't know, big Dale Earnhardt fan. Dale Earnhardt Jr. really, my dad was the Earnhardt fan, but I bought this hat when I got out to Iowa to be my hunting hat for the year. And it took 1 day for Chansey to chew it. You guys know Chansey right there. So that was pretty disappointing. Spent $40 on a hat, which I would never recommend, but I did it because I found it on eBay and I wanted it. So yeah. And then this one over my shoulder right here, probably one of my favorite deer. Shot him in 2016, I believe. A lot of stuff broke off on him. He was broke off early. I had pictures from a neighbor. And he's 127 as he sits. He was my biggest deer before I got to Iowa. And he had another matching tine, kind of like this one right here, on that left side, as well as a split off the 1-2. I'm sorry, I split off the brow. And then another tine that you can kind of see where it broke off right here. So, awesome deer. A Maryland deer are always special to me. Not that the Iowa, I can't say Iowa. Not that the Iowa ones aren't, but you know, that's where I kind of started everything and kind of built my passion for hunting. So, and then the number one biggest deer in Maryland, 138, called him Teddy. First deer of Midwest whitetail. And one of the things I actually did on the wall pedestal was get the Midwest Whitetail logo on the back. So I thought that was pretty cool. Cool buck. And first day of bow season, first deer I ever killed on the first day of bow season in Maryland, September 8th. So, and this is one thing, just if you guys don't know me, I have a thing with the 8th, right? So my first bow deer is actually upstairs. I shot him on October 8th. This deer was a late season deer. I shot him on January 8th. That deer, November 8th. And that deer that I was just telling you about, September 8th, first day of bow season. So September, October, November, January. December 8th has to be a day for me. And one day it's gonna happen. So that's my affiliation with the 8th of the year. So we got off topic here, but that's what I run in the blind bag. I figure I'd show you guys some deer while we're at it. And on top of that, looking at next week, it is bow season, baby. So I don't know what the plan is. I don't know if I'll be filming Mike. I don't know if I'll be out or with Zach or with Gavin, but, oh, sorry about that. Or with Gavin, but it is bow season. It's time. It's here. A couple days away, and I can't wait to see what we can put together for you guys. So thanks for watching. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week.